In 1994, a sci-fi film premiered that, while it did good business, it didn't set the world on fire. But then again, neither did the film We Set the World on Fire. Rather than make a sequel, it became the basis for a long-running TV franchise that seemed to make people forget that there was actually a 1994 movie that started it all, Stargate. Director Roland Emmereich and producer Dean Devlin co-wrote a script that, put politely, is about space Egyptians who came to Earth through a portal, influenced ancient cultures, and built the pyramids. It's like Chariots of the Gods, but dumbed down for the 1990s, so it's probably best described as skateboards of the morons.
Well, who do you think built the pyramids?
I don't have any idea who built them. I mean, that...
Men from Atlantis? Or Martians, perhaps?
Stargate has some things going for it, and some things going against it. It's a bit like the choice of buying an electric car if you live in a house with only one power socket and it's already running your iron lung. In Egypt in the 20s, some stones are found with unusual markings. Plus this thing. Years later, discredited Egyptologist Daniel Jackson is invited to consult on a secret government project, which he quickly determines is some kind of Stargate.
Stargate.
Jackson and a team of soldiers headed by grieving Colonel Jack O'Neill enter the Stargate and end up on an alien planet that seems to have some common ancestry with ancient Egyptians.
We really need to look around.
Your job here is to realign the Stargate. Can you do that or not?
I can't.
They discover a massive mining operation run by simple people who are fearful of things like reading and writing, which in no way has modern parallels. Not at all. The first hour of the film was actually pretty decent, with Jackson being held in contempt by O'Neill and his troops, who are about as disciplined as a force of cat commandos who've been ordered to protect the fish. The film manages to contain its bountiful corn harvest and set up a reasonably interesting mystery about the planet and who built the Stargate and the pyramids and why. But then they answer the questions and the results are less than interesting. About an hour in, the villains start showing up, and that's when Stargate goes from being decent to something less than decent. And we don't just mean all of the half-naked children. An alien called Ra, who's taken human form, rules this world. Now, from this point, trying to pass what's happening in the script is difficult because, let's have a look. O'Neill was sent to blow up the Stargate, but no, Ra's going to send that bomb back to Earth and destroy our planet. The kids very quickly go from pliable slaves to revolutionaries expertly wielding submachine guns.
And they're not exactly special forces, but they sure were eager to join up.
Take these guns away, Lieutenant, before they hurt themselves.
But Stargate is a film of reckless child endangerment. Colonel O'Neill gives a cigarette to a miner. His soldiers are cool with kids playing with automatic weapons they just left out in the open. And Jackson, who's been suffering from a cold, may have inadvertently wiped out this civilization when the local kids pass around his dirty handkerchief, despite them having no immunity at all from the common cold. The tribal chieftain offers up his own daughter as a sexual gift. And yeah, like Crazy Frog, this hasn't aged well.
Daniel. I'm Daniel.
Shorty.
Apart from that,
It's a chicken. Tastes...
Tastes like chicken.
Jackson's getting very attached to his child bride, and then after an impromptu revolution destroys all of Ra's minions, Ra launches his pyramid into space, but yeah, manages to get blown up. Jackson stays behind with the child's bride, who's probably going to die from the virulent plague he's brought with him, and the soldiers go home. The end.
I have no idea.
And of course, the thing that I remember most is that teleport chamber. When I first saw it, I immediately flashed back to a time I accidentally slammed a car door shut on my fingers. You sort of know, with how elaborate the sequence is and how often it's used, that somebody is just going to...
Give my regards to King Tut, asshole.
Yeah, and there we go. Of course, even my ancient garage door will stop closing if there's so much as a matchstick in the way.
Give my regards to King Tut, asshole.
I'm not going to criticise the direction, it's all done quite competently, but it's the script. It's a script of two halves. The first half is decent and interesting, and the second half is a mess. It makes attempts at having depth, like people learning scuba in a kid's paddling pool.
You're a lying son of a bitch!
But to me, it's a film that really needs a fatter middle act to expand on Ra and why he must be defeated. Ra wants to co-opt Jackson, but then Jackson nopes out. It's a film that made sense for a while, then stopped making sense because they hit their head on a low beam, and then it makes absolutely no sense at all, like the Royal Mint. Stargate is a lush-looking film where the relatively modest budget has been used exceedingly well to create an entire civilization. The effects and production design generally hold up quite well, and it's possibly helped by the fact that there's still a lot of practical effects work in amongst some early computer graphics.
I'm on Planet X looking for a dweeb who wears green fatigues. He wears this jacket. He's got long hair. It comes over his eyes. He wears glasses and... Blah! Blah, blah, blah! Chicken.
And despite the script, the cast perform relatively well. You believe that they believe, and they believe totally in the truth of this cornball shit. Emmerich and Devlin's next film, the mega successful Independence Day, is about as subtle as parking a school bus in the slot designed for a subcompact. Stargate is only slightly more subtle, and often has a glimmer of cleverness, but not enough for anyone to claim that it's a smart or witty script. It's just not as bad as it could be, which I base purely on how awful most later Roland Emmerich films end up. Stargate did give composer David Arnold his first shot at a big epic score, so that's one good thing the film gave us. The film was fairly successful, and despite its broad range of reviews, ranging from terrible to mediocre, the idea of a sequel was bandied about, but nothing eventuated, thank Ra. But in 1997, a TV spin-off, Stargate SG-1, launched, ostensibly carrying on from the film, but it quickly became its own thing, running for 10 years and spawning multiple spin-offs of its own. Stargate is a movie that when I originally saw it as a home video rental, I was not particularly impressed by. So much so that up to the point this video was made, I've yet to watch an episode of any Stargate series. But it's generally well thought of, so I've decided I will try and do that at some point.
I don't want to die. Your men don't want to die. And these people here don't want to die. It's a shame you're in such a hurry to.
Stargate is an okay movie that builds up to something and then degenerates into a mess. It's a non-essential sci-fi film, not so much of a classic, more of a, oh, Stargate, I might add that to my watch list at some point. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, leave a comment below, or check out some of our other videos.